We come here to interrogate what democracy is. I will not give you a typical keynote address. I'll simply identify a number of issues on the basis of which you can then continue with your long day or with your day-long debate. Last night, I was watching the results of the elections that had been called in Canada, snap elections. Canada has 38 million registered voters. Kenya in the year 2022 had slightly under 23 million voters. As the votes were being counted, the winning candidate called the election in his favor. And 1 hour later, the losing candidate gave a speech conceding defeat. Not so long ago, another snap election was called in Germany. Germany has 58 million plus registered voters. Within 1 hour of the closing of the voting, the winning candidate had called the elections and the losing candidate had conceded. In our country, we would still be at Bomas of Kenya, deciding whether 1 + 1 is 2 or 3. We would have printed ballot papers whose cost is more expensive than our currency, and they would have been printed in Greece. We can't count. We have individuals who think that people representation is life and death, and they actually cause death, and we cheer them. We cheer them because they come from our tribes. We cheer them because they have bribed us. We may be in boardrooms before the elections and speak very soberly, but on the day of the election, we are Luo, we are Kikuyu, we are Kamba, we are Kalenjin, we are Bukus. Until we liberate ourselves from that sad reality, we'll never earn the dividends of good governance. Today, I'm reluctant to use the word democracy. Because what is it? John Hendricks Clark, that great American, said that when African countries regained their independence, not a single one of them adopted a government system that is based on African traditions. We all adopted systems that were inherited from our erstwhile colonizers, and Clark says none of us will ever succeed on the basis of those systems. And I can't agree more. Look at Africa today. As I speak, Sudan. Look at Sudan. Look at Somalia. Look at Democratic Republic of Congo. Look at the entire Sahel. In Guinea, Doumbouya had to mount a coup d'etat. In Niger, they had to mount a coup d'etat. In Mali, Timi Goïta had to mount a coup d'etat. In Burkina, Ibrahim Traore had to mount a coup d'etat. In Gabon, Nguema had to mount a coup d'etat. There may have been successful elections in Botswana and in Namibia, but those are few and far between. We must interrogate this thing we call democracy. In Kenya, the people you call leaders Don't listen to them when they are in podiums in Nairobi. No. Listen to them when they are speaking in their mother tongue at funerals, when they are their true selves. They are Bukusus or Maragoli speaking Mulembe Nation, or they are Kambas, or they are Kikuyus, or they are Luos. Their political parties don't matter. That is why there is not a single presidential candidate that has contested an election after 5 years in the same political party. As I said before, the forests change, but the monkeys remain the same, with the same habits. And let me tell you, if you continue doing the same thing in the same way, thinking that will change, nothing will change. I now see individuals across the country congregating, and you call them opposition. These were individuals who were in the Moi government. They were in the Kibaki government. They were in the Uhuru government. What is new about them? Nothing except their insatiable greed for power and the privileges that power offers. So we are assembled here to ask critical and serious questions. I've been around. I was here in 1980s. I was here in 1990s when the entire movement of change the Constitution was alive and well. I was in the Council of the Law Society. I've been here and I've seen Kenyans repeatedly electing individuals in the name of democracy who in other parts of the world would be completely unelectable. You elect comedians. And as one wise man, is it Albert Einstein, who said, when you elect a comedian to take him or her to the palace becomes a circus. And that is why we have what we have today. What is the value of knowing that which is right without doing that which is right? I keep on hearing Kenyans saying, we have a beautiful constitution. What is the beauty of a constitution which you honor and breach? What is it? You know, in 1967, the late Tanzanian President Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere was asked, what is the secret of development? And he said in Swahili, siri ya maendeleo ni watu, ardhi na siasa safi. And he added, siri ya maendeleo ni vijana wenye malezi bora, siha njema na bongo kali. And then he said, ukimwona mtu anakimbia sana kwenda Ikulu, mkwepe kama ukoma. Kwani kuna biashara gani Ikulu? He posed rhetorically. Ikulu ni mahali patakatifu. Musilibadilishe kuwa pango la walanguzi. We Kenyans hold meeting after meeting in boardroom after boardroom, in workshop after workshop. But we are unmoved and untouched. The question is, when will we have our journey to Damascus? Like Saul of Tarsus, that we may change. Are we ready for the change? Are we prepared to do that which is right and good because it is right and good? I was involved in the process of making the Constitution jointly with others for 5 years. We produced the Bomas draft. We made many recommendations, some of which were retained in the current Constitution. We said Nairobi should not be a county. You made it into a county. We said we should have no more than 18 counties. Between 14 and 18, you created 47 of devolved units, each of which a governor thinks he or she is running a country. The United States of America has only 50 states with a GDP of 23 trillion United States dollars. Nigeria has only 37 states. India, 37. China, 30 provinces. South Africa, 9 provinces. We have 47 counties with 47 governors, 47 deputy governors, 47 speakers, 47 deputy speakers, and you tell me that we are going to grow? When a county raises 400 million in a year and consumes 2 billion in a year, we can't grow. Even if there is divine intervention. We can pray and fast all we want, but nothing is going to change until we change. We have individuals in positions of leadership who do not care. They are unmoved and untouched. You accuse an individual of engaging in corruption. He has a mob around him, escorting him to the offices of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. And he comes out and gives a press conference. Corruption is the most profitable business in Kenya today. You have individuals whose salaries, even if they lived for 1,000 years and worked for 1,000 years, would not buy them half an acre of land, and they are multi-billionaires. They have never won any lottery, never made any discovery, and we celebrate them as successful men and women, and we elect them to boot. As Dr. Waindi said, I grew up partly in Maringo, partly in Jericho, partly in Eastleigh, partly in my rural home in Usenge, in Imbo, in Siaya County. When I was sick, you would go to the dispensary and you would find medication. Today, unless you are suicidal, you don't visit any of those outfits. When our leaders are delivering children, they go to the United States of America. And we are not angry. We are told that our police officers, and is in the public domain, collect 13.3 billion in bribes in a month, and we are not angry. Young Kenyans, the task is yours. Choose you now. Whether you want to be Kambas and Luos and Luhias and Kikuyus, or you want to be Kenyans, with the tribe only being for cultural reasons. Samora Moises Machel said, if the new African nation is to thrive, the tribe must die. Not that you cease to identify yourself as such, but it cannot be the basis for decision making. That I'm voting for an individual because he's from my ethnic group, that is the only qualification. That they gave me 200 shillings, that is the justification. We must rethink governance. Today, We have a parliament whose only claim to fame is that they have insatiable appetite for our taxes. Our parliamentarians, relative to our GDP, are the best paid in the world. In the world. They want CDF, not because they want to serve us. Ask each one of them how many companies they have formed, where their drivers and brothers and sisters and house helps are the directors. Ask them. Ask them whether they do not trade with the counties and with the constituencies that they run. Ask the MCA whether that is not true. Ask them how they become multi-millionaires within 2 years of joining public office. Ask them. Ask them why, when the courts have declared CDF to be unconstitutional, why they want to constitutionalize it, whether we like it or not. It is a slush fund. And you know, your typical Kenyan politician thinks that we have the memory of a mosquito and a warthog combined. That is why they don't care about us. The time is now that we must demonstrate that our civic duty not only demands but requires that we make demands of them. This is not the time for cowards who die times without number. Because if you are a coward today, your children and children's children will pay the price of our cowardice. We must speak out and bear the consequences. Yesterday, the 29th day of the month of April in the year 2025, you saw how 6 individuals were killed in cold blood. And nothing will happen to them. That is the tragedy. A culture of lawlessness and impunity has taken root in our country. So when you talk about democracy, what is it? It is not true that we did not know democracy, no. It is not true that democracy came from Greece. That was the Greek definition of democracy. When it came to the United States of America, Abraham Lincoln said of it that it was a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. That was their definition of it. In the year 1235, in amongst the Mande people, they were already having a Mandean charter. At that time, we did not have the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. There were orderly kingdoms in Africa. But the democracy that we are trying to practice is the neo-colonial version that was bequeathed to us by the colonizers. You come to Kenya, we still try to mimic the British. You go to former French colonies, they are trying to mimic the French. You go to former Portuguese colonies, they are trying to mimic the Portuguese. Until the day that we exercise the ghost of mimicry, we are going nowhere. That is why when you go to our parliament, a member of parliament cannot pronounce a word without saying, Mr. Speaker, sir, make your point. Mr. Speaker, sir, cannot be form and part of a speech. And you look at your speaker, he is dressed in wool that was used in medieval Europe, and you think that that is a badge of honor. You go to our courts, you find our judges are equally dressed in things that ought to belong to the Museum of History alongside the spinning wheel. And we think it is a badge of honor. You come to our leaders, they still want to be addressed as His Excellency or the Right Honorable something. Titles that were used in medieval Europe. We must change. And we are only going to change when you, the young generation, my friend Habib, in Kariobangi, and I know that area well. We work there even as I speak. Go out there and speak a different language. When we were growing up in Jericho, it did not matter whether one was Kikuyu. We didn't even know. It's only later that we knew that Kariuki was a Kikuyu name and Wafula was a Luhya name. Today, you see the government advertising a post and they put there John Lukoe, Luhya. John Joroge, Kikuyu. Go out there in Kariobangi and change minds. Those of you who are from Kibera and Katwekera, go out there and change minds. If you are from Kaloleni, go out and change minds. And just don't be in Nairobi, go out there. In Kilifi, let ICJ not be a boardroom arrangement where we speak to ourselves in English. Nendeni mkazungumza na watu kwa Kiswahili na lugha zao za mama. Hilo ndilo jambo ambalo lazima tulitekeleze ikiwa tunataka kulibadilisha taifa hili. Kwa kuwa taifa imepigwa ngeta kwa lugha ya mtaa. Na wahuni tunaowaita viongozi. Na wahuni hawana haya. Siri ya ubinadamu ni kuwa na haya. Watu ambao tunaita viongozi Kenya hawana haya. Wanaua hawana haya. Wanaiba hawana haya. Wakati ni sasa tuwe ni watu ambao tuna haya. Na tusiogope. Tuwe wajasiri. Uchaguzi ni mwaka 2027. Ikiwa ningeulizwa, hiki kizazi cha wanasiasa ambao tunaona wakiranda, wakipiora, tunawafahamu. Nyerere alikuwa akisema wasipong'atuka tuang'atue. Na tuna uwezo wa kuang'atua kwa njia za kupiga kura. Uamuzi ni wenu. Amueni. Na namalizia hivi. Namaliza kwa kumtaja na kutumia mfano aliyoutoa tena Mwalimu Julius Kambarage Nyerere. Hakuna kiongozi katika bara hili ambalo amelishughulikia jambo hili kumpita Mwalimu Nyerere. Akizungumzia mambo ya utawala, alisema tatizo la Mwafrika katika mambo haya ya kura ni kwamba Mwafrika ameleweshwa na kasumba ya ukoloni mambo leo. Na kulewa huko kunatokana na vitu viwili. Ama mpiga kura ni mjinga au ni mpumbavu. Na akasema tena Mwalimu, mjinga akiambiwa ataelewa na atabadilika. Sasa naombeni muende katika mitaa na kila pembe za nchi hii, mtoe ujinga. Mwambie kila mtu ukabila na udini haitawasaidia. Na pia akasema ya kwamba kuna wapumbavu. Mpumbavu ni mtu ambaye amepumbaa. Hata ukimweleza hasikii. Ni wachache sana wapumbavu. Mkimwona mpumbavu mkwepe kama ukoma. Na mwisho kabisa naenda kule Ugiriki. Wagiriki walipozungumzia mambo haya ya kidemokrasia, na nitaeleza kwa Kiingereza ili na wengine waelewe. The Greeks divided their population, as you famously know, into 3 categories. Idiots. Idiots are individuals who may have gone to school. They have degrees, PhDs, they are professors, but they are idiots. They do not make demands of their representatives. When there are potholes on the road, they buy 4-wheel drive cars. When there is insecurity, they hire security firms. Gardewald from Canada, Fargo from the United States, 4GS from the United Kingdom. Those are idiots. They think that they are immune. They are cast to their countries. Then there are tribalists who think that their security and safety lies with their tribesmen. Wenu ni wenu, they say kwa Kiswahili. Wanasema yours is yours. Mokamba kevindio. Odu adu. Modo wa nyuba. Those are tribalists. Shenu ne shenu murembe. Those are tribalists, and they are a danger to our country. The third category are citizens. The people who look at Kenya and they know that Kenya belongs to us and the generations yet to be born. And they want good roads. They want good schools where you do not know whether you are in CBC or CBE. You never know what we are doing. They want security. They want opportunities for our young men and women. They don't want our young men and women to be exported to Myanmar, to be exported to the Arab world in modern day slavery. Those are citizens. Today, I'm urging you to be citizens of the Republic of Kenya. Because when you are citizens of the Republic of Kenya, you will be good citizens of Africa, East Africa, and good citizens of the continent of Africa, and good citizens of the world. So go out there and do that which is good and right, in the knowledge that we have men and women in positions of authority who do not care and think that they are larger than life, almost as large as death. But remind them that they are lived a Mobutu in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Remind them. Remind them that they are lived a Jean Bedel Bokassa in Central African Republic. Remind them. Remind them that they are lived Bongo in Gabon. Remind them. Remind them that they are lived Jean-Claude Duvalier in Haiti. Remind them that they are lived Fez al-Assad and Bashar al-Assad in Syria, and they are no more. Remind them. God bless you. Found ballot boxes in Bahati and other places. I immediately complained to my good teacher and friend, Aaron Ringera, who was then the director of Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission. If you read my book, I've reproduced both my letter to Ringera and his reply to me. Ultimately, the court declared that one Mr. Mbugo had won the election. We do not know by what margin and what, but he was declared. It taught me one thing. People are not interested in ideas. The electorate has not reached that stage. Today is even worse. There is a friend of mine who in the last election wanted to contest in Game constituency, and he went there thinking he would tell them that the young people told him, no, we know what you want to tell us, just give us money. Another one declared that he wanted to be a candidate, and immediately announced in Nairobi there were over 100 people in his rural home. He renounced and he said, I'm no longer contesting. What we have are kakistocracies, governments by our very worst, kleptocratic kakistocracies. And we can only liberate ourselves from such situation through civic empowerment. Which brings me to your question. You now have a testimony, like I do, that I tried. It is not going to be easy. It may not happen in your lifetime. That is what you must know, that the good things you want may not happen in your lifetime. Your duty is to play your part. That part that you play is your contribution. The contribution you are now making is perhaps much bigger than an MCA and a member of parliament. And you are doing it out of passion and out of love. You are a chemist. You are here out of love and passion for your country. Rebellion is the nature of human beings. We'll always rebel. We'll always seek that which is better and superior. And when I want to be cynical, I said that rebellion started in heaven itself. So who are we? The bug of rebellion will always be with us. And that is why Corazon Aquino, how many of you here remember Corazon Cojuangco Aquino, the lady who was the president of Philippines? He said that when you talk about democracy in an environment where people are enlightened, you are talking about nothing but a confederacy of fools. Democracy or good governance requires a people who understand why they are voting. Today, you go to certain countries, you see that feeling. People may say all they want about Rwanda, but I see that feeling. There's a level of civic awareness. They are not perfect. People may say all they want about Tanzania, but I see something. I see in Tanzania, they are good friends of mine. They are people who are senior government position. A good friend of mine who is the Deputy Prime Minister, Doto Biteko. Just listen to him when he is talking and he's addressing serious issues. Sobriety. I want you to see, yesterday Mzee Wasira of CCM was responding to our own Martha Karua. I want you to see Wasira's response. How measured it was. No insults. Something happening there. Will we see the fruits of it now? No. In Botswana, you can see something there. In Namibia, we can see something there. So let us always also remember that when we talk about Africa, it's not as if we have lost it all. No. There are things, good things happening in the continent, just as there are good things and bad things happening in Europe. They are now fighting in Ukraine, killing each other. You must never give up. He's asking what I'm doing. What I'm doing, I've been doing since the year 1994. I believe our foundation, which is present in every county in this country, present in 46 African countries, working with young people. He has come. I've never met him until 3 hours ago. He saw the work of our foundation in Tel Aviv, in Israel, and he is from Eritrea, and he's come here to work with us. It means, whether you like us or not, that we are doing something right. Yeah, something that awakens the spirit. And this is why, when I see people, and there are people who have been doing good things, I end there. My good friend Athuok, Kimel, we have been with Kimel for donkey years. Evans Ogada, and many others who have been doing things. You are all making a contribution. I'm now answering your question. Never despair. In 1947, when Ghana's Kwame Nkrumah was about to join Lincoln University in the United States, he was asked to write a one-page statement of what he wanted to do, and this is what he said: so much to be done, so little time. And that is the reality for all of us. So much to be done, so little time. Make your contribution. And that contribution you make, it is our own Wangari Muta Maathai, who several years gave the story of a hummingbird. And he said the hummingbird only brings a mouthful of water in an attempt to put out the fire. Who knows whether it's just that little mouthful that was necessary to put out the fire. So let us go out there courageous. It is the Chinese, and I think we Africans will say, when you are planning for 1 year, plant rice. When you are planning for 10 years or whatever number of years, plant trees. But when you are planning for a generation, plant ideas in human beings. Make sure that within your own sphere, you create positively individuals who are touched by your word, and never fear people who will be better than you. A good teacher is one who produces pupils and students who are better than him or her. That is what it is. If you are afraid of ideas, then go home and sit and never be seen. And if you think that things are going to be easy, that which is easy is not worth doing. You must bear the consequences. So I have no doubt in my mind that all of you, Ocheng there comes from Mombasa. I'm sure you get frustrated. It can be frustrating, but never give up. Frustrated you will be, but never give. Kime, as I conclude. You know, there was a time I was the director of the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission. I went into a forum such as this, and somebody asked, what does the Kenya Anti-Corruption do to eliminate corruption? And I told the individual, the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission, which is the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, has only 200 employees. What is corruption? I asked the individual, are you a Christian? Yes. Do the 10 Commandments say, thou shalt not steal? Yes. Have you stopped stealing? Because that is what corruption is all about. The Bible has not stopped you from stealing. The Hindu Gita has not stopped you from stealing. The Quran has not stopped you from stealing. Then you think that the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission or the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission is going to stop you from stealing? No. It is you who must make the decision that you are not going to engage in criminality. And as a society, we must choose to punish individuals who engage in criminality. You will remember that the law to abolish my office as Director of Anti-Corruption Commission was passed at midnight to abolish our offices. Because we had asked that several cabinet ministers be arrested. At midnight. The people whom you want arrested, some of them are now governors and ministers. As I speak, I see them, wanajifanya, wanajitapa. Wanaomba, wanaenda kanisani tu. Wengi tu. Wanaenda msikitini. And Kenyans wanawashabikia. I remember when I was at the anti-corruption one day, one of the thieves whom we had said should be arrested came to the Kenya anti-corruption officers at the Integrity Center, and young people were singing, ni mwizi wetu. Ni mwizi lakini ni mwizi wetu. Ni mwizi lakini ni mwizi wetu. He's a thief, but he's our thief. So, the decision is yours. But we can change it. If you don't succeed, your children will. If they don't succeed, their children's children will. So don't despair, my young lady from the Republic of Uganda. Don't despair. Right now, you can see what they are trying to do to eliminate my good friend Ibrahim Traore. Survived many assassination attempts. Because when you are doing good, they'll take you out. It is Samora Moises Machel who once said, when you hear the former colonizers saying you are good, you must pause and ask yourself, what evil are you committing against your people? So, ladies and gentlemen, I wish all of us well. Remember that none of us has a solution to our national problem. It is combined that we can have a solution. But one thing that I'm passionate about is that we must be Kenyan citizens. Our country is lonely. It is lonely because tribalists are the ones who are at the helm. They congregate from hotel to hotel. And when they go to such meetings, they bring their tribes as mortgage in the political, as collateral in the political mortgage market. So they go there and say, I'm from this tribe. This is the collateral that I bring to the political mortgage market. And we have a basket of votes which come 2027 is going to catapult us. I am urging you today there to go out and to begin to say, wasipong'atuka watang'atuliwa. Wasipong'atuka watang'atuliwa. Thank you.